the great Imām, the scholar of fiqh and tafsir and usul, Shaykh Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala, he says some words about this verse, that if you hate them, even if you hate them, then perhaps Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, you may hate a thing and Allah will place an abundance of good in that thing. He says some words that are perhaps the best thing that have ever been stated in the history of Islam by the scholars of tafsir. And speaking about this verse, he says in his book Tafsir al-Latif al-Mannan, what is called Mukhtasar Tafsir al-Sa'di, he says, may Allah have mercy upon him, أَيْ يَنْبَغِي لَكُمْ يَا مَعْشَرَ الْأَزْوَاجِ أَن تُمْسِكُوا زَوْجَاتِكُمْ وَلَوْ كَرِحْتُمُوهُنَّ. Meaning that it is befitting upon you, O husbands, that you hold fast to your wives and that you keep them even if you hate them. فَإِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Your marriage doesn't have to be a fairy tale. Your marriage doesn't have to be something out of a romance novel. Your marriage doesn't have to be something off of the television. Some people, some homes, as we heard from the statement of Umar radiyallahu anhu, laysa kullu al-buyut tubna ala al-hub. Not all loves are built upon, not all homes are built upon love. Walakin mu'asharatu al-Islam wa ala al-ahsab. But rather, oftentimes homes are built upon just treating each other like Muslims and wanting to keep the family strong. As Shaykh Sa'di said, فَإِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا مِنْهَا. There is a lot of good in doing so. From that good, امتثال أمر الله ورسوله. Firstly and foremostly is that you are implementing the commandment of Allah and the commandment of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam by being patient and holding fast to your wives even if you hate them. الذي فيه سعادة الدنيا والآخرة. And in doing so, you will experience flourishing and felicity in this world and in the next. وَمِنْهَا أَنَّ إِجْبَارَهُ نَفْسَهُ وَمُجَاهَدَتُهُ إِيَّاهَا مع عدم محبة زوجته تمرين على التخلق بالأخلاق الجميلة. Likewise, from the benefits of that is that by a person forcing himself to be a way that he doesn't want to be and fighting against himself to be with this woman while not loving his wife anymore, it trains him to have beautiful character. وَرُبَّمَا زَانَتَ الْكَرَاهَةِ وَخَلَفَتْهَا الْمَحَبَّةِ. And perhaps that momentary hatred would disappear and be replaced by marital love. وَرُبَّمَا زَانَتِ الْأَسْبَابِ الَّتِي كَرِهَهَا لِأَجْلِهَا. And perhaps those reasons that you dislike her for would disappear and go away. وَرُبَّمَا رُزِقَ مِنْهَا وَلَدًا صَالِحًا نَفَعَ اللَّهُ بِهِ وَالِدَيْهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And perhaps Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala will bring about righteous children that He will benefit both parents with in this world and the next. وَلَا بُدَّ لِهَذِهِ الْكَرَاهَةِ min asbabi min azawja. And there is no doubt that this dislike or hatred that the husband has for his wife, that there are reasons that came from the wife to cause it. فَيَنْبَغِي إِذَا كَرِهَ مِنْهَا خُلُقًا لَذِهَ بَقِيَّةَ أَخْلَاقِهَا. And so if there are some traits of hers that he hates, then he needs to look at the rest of her qualities and the rest of her character. وَمَا فِيهَا مِنَ الْمَقَاصِدِ الْأُخَرِ. And he needs to look at the rest of the wisdoms of marriage and the wisdoms of staying together. وَيَجْعَلَ هَذَا فِي مُقَابَلَةِ هَذَا. And he is to weigh between the two, between the harms and the benefits. The harms of his personal pride being offended, the harms of his wife not loving him like he would want to love her, and that sort of thing, and the benefits of everything that comes as a result of being patient. As the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ثبت عنه أنه قال, he says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَعَلَمُوا أَنَّ النَّصْرَ مَعَ الصَّبْرِ. Know that victory and triumph comes by way of being patient. A person is patient and he wins in all sorts of ways. And he says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ثبت عنه, he says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا زَادَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا بِعَفْوٍ إِلَّا عِزًّا. On account of pardoning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never increases the servant in anything except for dignity. So the person, he pardons and he is patient and he wins and he is victorious and he is dignified and his family is strong and generations of Muslims come from him. as opposed to being in his bag, as opposed to being in his emotions, as opposed to being caught up in his feelings like a bint. He should be patient, and he should pardon, and he should overlook, and he should not out-emote his wife. If she is emotional, he should respond to that emotion with razana, with al-hazm, with al-azm, with maturity, and being a serious adult. Listen to the speech of this Imam. He says, rahimahullah ta'ala, may Allah have mercy upon him, وَهَذَا عُنْوَانُ الْإِنصَافُ الرَّأْيِ الْأَصِيلِ. He said in this, by doing that, by weighing the harms and the benefits of the situation, this is that which identifies the reality of insaf, of his being fair and treating others like he would want to be treated. وَالرَّأْيِ الْأَصِيلِ. And looking at the matter objectively and having strong-mindedness. فَإِنَّ النَّزِقَ الطَّائِشِ. He said, for certainly the person who is other than that, who is naziq at-ta'ish and naziq al-khafif al-aql. The person who is naziq, the person who is weak-minded, he said, at-ta'ish, the person who is brash and reckless, الذي ليس عنده إنصاف يلاحظ بعض أغراضه النفسية, who doesn't have any fairness in looking at the situation, or levity or balance in looking at the situation. He just looks at some of his own personal aghrad, some of his own personal self-interest, and how he is not getting what he wants out of this situation. فَإِذَا لَمْ يَأْتِي عَلَى مَا يُرِيدُ أَحْدَرَ الْمَحَاسِنِ وَالْمَنَاقِبِ. And if things aren't as he wants, if things aren't coming into existence that he wants, then he ignores all of the good aspects of their marriage and all the merits of his wife. وَهَذَا لَا يَكَادُ يَصْفُ لَهُ خِلٌّ. And a person who is like this will hardly ever have a friend. He will hardly ever find somebody to love him. As the Salaf, they used to say, مَنْ لَا يَصْلُحُ لِأَهْلِهِ لَا يَصْلُحُ لَكَ. The person who is not right for his own folks, for his own family, for his own wife, لَا يَصْلُحُ لَكَ, is not going to be a good companion for you. If he is not a good companion to his own wife and to his own woman folk, لَا يَصْلُحُ لَكَ, then he won't be a good companion for you. He says, rahimahullah ta'ala, وَهَذَا لَا يَكَادُ يَصْفُ لَهُ خِلٌّ أي خليل في حياته. This person will hardly ever find that they have a true friend or a true companion who loves them in their life. A person who is reckless like that, and a person who is hasty like that. وَلَا زَوْجَةٌ وَلَا صَاحِبٌ وَلَا حَبِيبٌ. They won't have a wife that they stay with very long. They won't have a companion that they stay around very long, except that they have a falling out. وَلَا حَبِيبٌ, or any other person that they claim to love. بل هو سريع تقلب, but rather this person is quick to change their stripes. وأما الرجل الحازم, but as for this serious man, Al-Imam Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala says, الوفي الذكي, and he who has integrity, and he who has al-wafa, who has loyalty towards his wife. Al-wafa is that a person fulfills the rights of another because of their sawabiq, because of the goodness that has come from them, that they have reciprocity, that they don't judge a person and define a person based on their worst moments and based on their worst statements. The person who is dhakiyun, wafiyun, ar-rajul al-hazim, the serious man who is intelligent, فَإِنَّهُ يُوَازِنُ بَيْنَ الْأُمُورِ, is the one who weighs between matters. وَيُقَدِّمُ الْحَقِّ السَّابِقِ وَيَفِي بِالسَّوَابِقِ, and he gives precedence to the rights of the history that they have together. وَيَفِي بِالسَّوَابِقِ, and he fulfills the rights that are connected to the history that they share. وَيَكُونُ نَظَرُهُ لِلْمَحَاسِنِ أَرْجَحْ مِنْ نَظْرِهِ لِلْمَسَاوِي, and he looks more at the good aspects of the marriage and of the woman than looking at her masawi, at her negative traits. فَإِنْ وَصَلَ إِلَى دَرَجَةِ الْعَالِيَةِ التي لا يصل إليها إلا أفراد من كمل الرجال جعل المحاسن نصب عينيه. And if he reaches this high level that only a few individuals from those men who reach their ideal can reach, then he will place the good qualities of this woman that he is with at the forefront of his face, right in front of his eyes, focusing upon her good qualities at all times. وَأَغْضَ عَنِ الْمَسَاوِي, and he will overlook her shortcomings. بِالْكُلِيَّةِ entirely. وَعَفَ عَنْهَا لِلَّهِ, and He will pardon her for her shortcomings for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلِحَقِّ صَاحِبِ الْحَقِّ, and He will pardon her for her shortcomings because she has the right of Sahib al-Haq, and of a true friend. فَهَذَا قَدْ كَسَبَ الْأَجْرَ وَالرَّاحَةَ وَالْخُلُقَ الَّذِي لَا يُلْحَقُ. This person, in doing so, he will get a reward in this world and the next, and he will encounter peace of heart and peace of mind in this world and the next. وَالْخُلُقَ الَّذِي لَا يُلْحَقُ, and a degree of character that is incomparable, that nobody besides a person who is like that can catch up with. وَذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. That is the grace and the favor of Allah that He gives to whom He chooses. وَهَذَا الصَّبْرُ الْمَأْمُورُ بِهِ إِنَّمَا هُوَ مَعَ الْإِمْكَانِ. And this patience that we have been commanded with is so long as there is a possibility for rectification.